In this video, I'm going to be going over how to make this pull-up bar. It's an awesome at-home workout option while many of us are stuck at home right now due to this virus. The entire project can be completed for around $40 in materials. The materials you're going to need for this build are 7 2x4s, pressure treated or just bare, either one will work. If you don't get pressure treated 2x4s, I would recommend painting them so they don't rot as quickly. You're going to need 2.5-inch screws. Deck screws are better than drywall screws because they'll last longer without rusting, but either one would work. And you're going to need a 48-inch metal pipe. The tools you're going to need are an impact driver or drill, a tape measure, and a saw. Before I started building this project, I made a quick design in Fusion 360. Here are all the 2x4 pieces that you're going to need to create to build this pull-up bar. And don't worry if you're not exactly on these measurements or if you're a little bit off with your angles. In the end, when you're attaching everything, we'll still be able to make it work. So just get as close as you can with the tools you have. To make the cuts, I used a small chop saw, but any saw can be used here. A circular saw or a hand saw would do the job. It might just take a little bit longer, so use whatever tools you have available. Once you have made all your cuts and have your pieces, you're ready to assemble your sides. The first step is just taking the red and blue piece and getting that angle set up, and then you can come in with your green and yellow pieces to complete one side. All the pieces are color coded, so if you are confused about which parts are going where, just refer back to the cut list in the earlier part of the video. Here, me and my brother are laying out the two sides, and I'm putting one screw in each connection point to start, just to hold everything together and get some measurements. Now, it's not necessarily important that you have a specific measurement here, but it's more important that your two sides measure the exact same height where they're crossing. This way, when you put your bar across, you know that it is going to be even and level. Once you've got your two sides laid out and they are measured and even, you want to just go through and add a bunch of screws in each connection point. We did about 4 screws in one side to start off, and then flipped it over and about 2 more from the other side, just to make sure those connections are really strong and sturdy. Here is me and my brother just putting in all these connection screws, and you don't need to be too technical or worried about how you're spacing these out. As long as you get a couple of screws in each spot, this should be strong enough to hold the pull-up bar together for as long as you plan to use it. Once you've got your two sides built, the final step is going to be connecting your two sides with your purple base pieces and the pink 45-degree support pieces. I recommend starting with the 2 purple pieces, and then once you've got it all stood up, you can add in the 45-degree supports. Here's what it should look like once you have everything put together, and these colors again match the original cut list, so if you're confused about where anything's going, you can refer back to that picture. Here, me and my brother are connecting the two sides together, and for most of the project, you don't really need another person. It can be done alone, but for this step, it's helpful to have an extra set of hands when connecting the second side because you do need someone to keep it steady. Once we had the 2 base purple pieces connecting our two sides, we stood everything up to add in the pink 45-degree supports. That was done with just a screw going into the base and 1 screw going into the sides. Your pull-up bar should now be all ready to use. The last optional step is giving it a coat of paint to help it last longer outside, but otherwise you are all ready to go get those gains. if you're planning to do any exercises like muscle ups or anything where you're going to be putting a lot of upward force on the bar, you can add a metal framing plate, which are about 50 cents at Home Depot, and that's going to make sure your bar has no chance of coming out the top. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about this build, and stay tuned for more quarantine projects to come.